Coffee and welcome to D18 Tonight. I'm your host, Crystal Paco. Well, the primary election is in the books, pending, of course, certification. But joining us tonight in studio, we have a very, very familiar face, GEC's, that's the Guam Election Commission's Executive Director, Maria Pangelinan. We also have Rory Respicio, the National Committee Man for the Democratic Party, and another very, very familiar face, we have Jerry Crisostomo, the chair of the Republican Party of Guam. What's awesome about our conversation tonight is nothing is timed. We get to talk freely about what happened on Saturday, Super Saturday, which turned into Super Sunday, and now it feels like a hangover, like Monday just came around, and we're all kind of just still feeling that fog. I feel foggy today, right? Maria, my biggest question, everybody asked me all night on Saturday, what took so long?
3 ballot sheets.
3 ballot sheets?
That means 190,000 ballots were counted. So that had to go through the 3 machines, and that's actually what took long. It wasn't all the things that happened in the precinct officials, with the precinct officials, that was pretty standard as far as when the staff and I were looking at what took so long. The machines were not waiting for ballots very long. The machines kept running, and that's what happened. So it was just the number of ballots that had to be counted.
Because this was a record turnout?
No, just because there were 3 different ballots that had to go through the machines.
Because the OPA as well.
That's right, the special election.
Okay, because, you know, we talked with you the week leading to election, and you said optimistically, 1 in the morning, but 1 in the morning turned into 3 in the morning.
I
3
said
in the morning
if
turned into 5.
everything went well.
I was watching the sunrise in Hagåtña. The cyclists were seriously like zooming by me, and I was like, how come I don't have the results yet? How come we don't have the results yet? How are you guys feeling? Were you
good. It was a very long night as well for the Democratic Party, and I should start by, on behalf of the Democratic Party, thanking the 84% that voted in our Democratic primary. I just told the Republican chairman, you guys sometimes like to participate in a Democrat race, but that's just how the party is. We're a party of inclusion, and we welcome not only Democrats, but Republicans who are looking for a choice other than the choice that they have, and as well as independents. So it was a very long night. I was at University of Guam, and Maria, and of course Mr. Crisostomo, Jerry was there because he's a member of the Guam Election Commission. We knew all along there was going to be a very long night, not only because of the work involved in putting all the ballots together, having them reconciled, and then preparing them, then having them processed, but we knew that it was a long night because we knew there was going to be a tight race among the 4 gubernatorial teams, and tight it was.
Thanks, Rory. But my question for you, Jerry, is where did the Republicans go?
Where were the Republicans? Well, you know, this primary is really the Democrats' primary. It wasn't the Republicans' primary. We had no contest in the gubernatorial race and no contest in the congressional race. There was a contest, a small contest in the senatorial race where 4 would not advance, but this was their election. This wasn't our election. Our election is in November, and we're prepped for that election.
We obviously met our 4% threshold for the Republican Party. 4%
was met, right? I projected a 55 to 60% turnout, and we hit 56%. 80, I thought it would be an 80-20 split, 80% voting the Democratic Party, which happened. They did 84, 85%. Republicans were like 15, 16%. But this is what we expected, having no contest in our primary. This happened in 1990 when Joe Ada ran unopposed. He barely got 2,900 votes, but eventually won the general election. And remember, 5 of the 7 elected governors were Republicans. Republicans win because the Democrats have crossed the river. Well, and we expect this year will be no different.
Jerry's saying that the reason why Republicans voted on the Democrat side because there was really no contest, but I think they voted on the Democrat side because they had choices. And I believe that the same might be replicated in the general election, where we're going to see a higher voter turnout on the Democratic side of the ballots, because it's just what the Democrats have had to offer in this election and in past elections as well.
But Jerry, how are you feeling? How are the Republicans feeling knowing that there could be a Democrat majority, maybe even a super majority, even if you did get the administration?
Right. So, when we looked at the legislature, you've got 4 incumbent Democrats that will probably likely return. We have 3 that we think will likely return. And then you've got So that's 7. And then you've got this toss-up of 8 that could go either way. And the Democrats have strong candidates in that sense, so do the Republicans. I think the familiar names like Telo Tailigui, who served before, Tina Munoz Barnes in the Democratic Party, and then you've got the next tier of candidates. So really, the 8 remaining seats is maybe a toss-up. And so each party is going to have a shot at that 8 seats. I think the 7 seats are generally safe, but I would never say it's safe because you just don't know. Somebody that ends up being #1 in the primary may not make the election. We learned that in 2016.
Okay, Jerry, I'm going to stop you there because we're going to take a short commercial break. D18 continues right after the break.
Smiling is a natural response to joy, happiness, and excitement. Your smile reveals a lot about who you are. A healthy, beautiful smile can brighten your appearance and be an invitation to conversation and friendship. It is often one of the first things people notice about you. Now, thanks to the advancements in dentistry, you can have the smile you have always wanted, giving you an improved smile that looks and feels great.
My silver fillings that I have, they're getting older in my mouth and I need to replace them. So I've started to do that and I've replaced them with the white fillings and I've had really great success with that. It looks good, they feel natural, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the bleaching. I want a white look all around my mouth.
Hafide, and welcome back to D18 Tonight. Again, I welcome you to go on Facebook Live, and ask your questions. Maybe you have a question, you're dying to know something from Maria or from Jerry or from Rory. But I had a question, because we were talking about this in the commercial break, that I think that the Democrats had unity with that unity pledge, but the Republicans had strategy, because I think it was the Republicans that knocked out Congresswoman Madeline Bordallo. What do you think about that, Jerry?
Well, I don't think so. I think the party certainly would never strategize to take the weakest link out of there. So the voters, the Republican voters that voted, or that are Republicans and decide to vote on the Democratic side, will be on their own in that sense. So I believe, it was a surprise for me. I mean, Madeline Bordallo is a powerhouse, and I believe that Mike Nicholas probably had a strategy that resonated with possibly independent voters that voted in those primaries, that liked his message. And he actually did something different. He didn't go on the attack in that primary. He reversed it and gave credit to Madeline's years of service, and that whoever wins, if he decides to win, I mean, if the voters decide to pick him, that they should sit down and look at the network that she's made, the accomplishments, so those could be passed over. To Mike Nicholas if he should prevail. So that the context that Madeline has made over the years would still be used under
But
congressman.
that only makes sense if the congressman wasn't running. So despite what Jerry said, I disagree. And we've seen that happen in the 2002, 2006 elections where the Republicans or those likely to vote on the Republican side of the banner, they would come to the Democrats and vote for someone who they perceive could be better to beat in the general election. We were hearing some rumblings of that with the gubernatorial race, but because the lieutenant governor and Senator Tony Atta needed at least a 4% variance, they actually canvassed saying Republicans stay home or stay Republican is what their newsletter was. But in the congressional race, and big congratulations to Senator Mike Nicholas for making the primary, but I know more than anything, he's thinking that his race is not set in stone, that he's going to have to go out and constantly introduce himself, tell people why he's running, try to get the support of Congresswoman Berdalio, because in my own assessment, with 84% of those voting in the Democratic side of the ballot, and he said they were predicting a 80-20% because maybe they send just enough over to tip it for some candidates. But
I can tell you that's not a party strategy. It will never be a party strategy. The voters would do it on their own.
But I think it is. Maria, let's bring the conversation back to her. Poor Maria, she's like the ref between Jeff and Rory. This feels more like the after party than D18 tonight. What were the major problems? I heard some things about the way people filled out their ballots. What makes it such a long process is I heard somebody colored in all the bubbles, every single bubble on one particular form. Or people with the write-ins, because write-ins have to be counted manually, that holds up the process. Is that true?
No. The write-ins, they will be counted only if they color in the oval. So those will be read by the machine. Later on, we'd have to go back and look at the write-ins and publish who were written in. But that in the process, up to getting the unofficial results, the write-ins did not hold us back. Okay. And those that colored in too many bubbles, those are called crossovers, and there were 900 some of those.
Because I know Mickey Mouse always gets a write-in.
We'll see. We'll check it out.
Always
yes.
Gets a write-in. You were saying earlier, and I just want to recap for the viewers at home again, that the reason why it took so long, election night, the tabulations took so long, is because there were 3 ballot sheets. And again, you had the one for the gubernatorial and the senatorial, and then you had the OPA. That OPA was Doris Flores Brooks leaving her job sooner than expected. That really held up that process because of the special election. Mm-hmm. So it's her.
Well, we saved a little bit. We saved a little bit of money by having it together with the primary.
How much money?
Well, if we had to get precinct officials again, so that would come up to $117,000 all by itself.
Just for the public auditor.
If we were going to have a special election for public auditor, we would have to hire precinct officials, and that's the baseline of how much we had saved.
So is this the first time it took that long? Again, we didn't get results, the final results, till 5:30ish in the morning.
I remember a long time ago it took longer, I think. There were some days, but since I've been there, this is the longest.
Because myself included, I'm like, it's the 21st century. We all have smartphones. We all have speedy internet connections. Why are we taking so long? Why is it taking so long? But I know that your workers, they worked so hard. They worked so hard. They were working around the clock. They were trying to fix everything. Were there any major issues though throughout the day?
Not really. The calls that we were getting were. First off, I want to mention and apologize to curbside voters. There were delays, and so we fixed it toward the afternoon. So by the time our staff went out, there were no wait. There were no curbside voters who were waiting, and then they were the voters that weren't on, or the potential voters, or the voters who wanted to vote and weren't on the list. And then I think the most calls we well, maybe not, but the other set of calls was electioneering, being inside the 100 feet mark. So electioneering is not allowed inside the 100 feet for most of the schools, but they were there. And so we had to send, again, staff out to make sure that they were abiding by the rules.
Okay, more with Maria again, and Jerry and Rory. Actually, not Rory. We're going to see a new face in this spot in a few minutes after the commercial break. More D18 tonight after the break.
All I need is one Where can you find a burger inspired by flavors from near and far that mixes the smoky with the sass of the South? Combines the sweetness of summer with the tang of the country for savory, sizzling, unexpected flavors. Well, you can find it at McDonald's. The new Bacon Smokehouse Burger. It's the newest flavor of the signature crafted recipes by McDonald's.
We're celebrating our 135th anniversary today, both in the outlying regions on which we hub and also here in Guam itself. It means so much to our team here in Guam. It means a lot to us in the Matson management team, because what it says is we're here to stay. It's a real physical manifestation of our commitment to this region. It's so important that we hire locally, we develop talent locally, we train locally. What's been a wonderful addition to our approach there is that many of the people who started off in Guam have gone off into significant leadership roles elsewhere in the company.
This is our headquarters here in Guam in Micronesia. And when we talk about putting down our roots, it's not just doing business, it's about everything we do with our friends, our customers, and our employees. I believe that nobody can replicate what we do, and that's why we have such a great team and such a great service and why we're successful. This is our home, this is our life, and we're happy to make a difference in everyone else's life.
It's Cheesy Bites pizza season at Pizza Hut. Your favorite pull, dip, pop icon is back. The one and only Cheesy Bites pizza with 28 poppable, dippable, cheese-filled bites. But hurry, it won't last long because no one out-pizzas the
Hafide, and welcome back to D18 Tonight. As you can see, this is not Rory Respicio. He has left the building, or he's still actually in the building, but now we have our Democratic chairperson, Regine Biscoe Lee, as well as senatorial candidate. Welcome.
Hafide,
Thanks for joining in on the conversation. She was stuck in traffic, but it's okay. We'll catch her right up. Right. But my next question is for Maria, because a lot of people want to know about recount. Are we going to have it? Do we count the absentee ballots? What's happening?
So on Thursday, this coming Thursday at 5:30 will be a Guam Election Commission meeting. They will address the letter that we received from the team of Agan Lim Chaco on their request for the recount. But the law says that the recount is required, that there shall be a recount if the difference is 2% or less. The difference in votes is 2% or less. So as we had calculated it early Sunday morning, we're saying at this time the difference is more than 2%, and it's at 3%.
Wow. So that means Thursday we'll find out what's gonna happen. So
yes,
it's only Monday. We got a few more days. The Agan Lim Tiaco camp will have to just wait it out at this point. You know what I also enjoyed about the Guam Election Commission this particular election year was that we went online. You could view the results online, and that was so awesome. But my hang up was you couldn't see the precinct.
Oh,
talk about that.
Yes, it would slow it down. You talked about it being
slow already.
Slow already. So getting the precinct count in between would slow the process, would slow it a lot. So we've gone through it several times in the last 2 election cycles, and I keep asking for it, and you know, in our discussions with the consultant, in our discussions with the staff who work the elections results management, it would slow the process really a lot.
Because I know, you know, the parties, we're all hanging out, we're like, want to know if we want our precinct, especially the village leaders. You know, they were so invested in the campaigns. I spoke with one of them, and they're like, you want to know if I want my village, especially because like I was at the Lou and Josh camp, and I was with the Jonia village leader, and he wants to know if he wants his village because Frank Uggan is from Jonia.
But I think for that evening, right after, you know, as the votes were coming in, that it's probably more important to get the overall results, and then the detailed results can come afterwards.
And get the correct overall.
And get the correct overall, right.
Right.
So, you know, the precinct and the village level can come afterwards. But it used to be in the old days, I remember the old days, you put the tally board up at these headquarters, and you have, you know, Jonia 8A, 8B, and you see where your votes are. But that would take a lot longer. I mean, this is my first time as a Guam Election Commission commissioner, representing the Republican Party, and seeing the efficiency that the staff GEC runs. And you know, other than the precinct officials doing their regular tabulation and reconciliation, the machines and everything that worked well was very efficient. It's just that Maria was right. There was 3 ballots, so that's 3 different countings that had to be done.
You know, Regine, now that you're joining me, I want to ask, because, you know, we're all about girl power. We could have a female majority in the legislature, even possibly if should Liu advance in the general election. We could have a female-dominated legislature. How are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling super excited about that. That's really exciting for Guam, and it's really thanks to, in large part, to the voters for speaking out and for saying that, you know, we think that these women are ready. These women can lead our island, and we like their platforms. We like what they stand for, and so obviously, you know, the people have really spoken on that score, and I'm very excited to hear about not just what the women candidates have to say, but there was also a post on Facebook that I saw asking about male candidates. Who are the male feminist candidates out there, and what are their platforms, and how are they going to speak to women voters? And so those are going to be really interesting and I think issues that haven't really been brought up in previous elections. So I'm very interested to see what the other candidates have to say about things in terms of the feminists.
Besides the legislature and possibly the governor's race being a woman, but the Congress may also turn into a female you know, race. So we could theoretically or perception have a female governor, a female congresswoman, and a dominant female in the legislature.
We also have a female chief justice.
And then if they don't, and if they don't do well in 2 years, we kick them out and we bring them back.
I don't know about
That's
that.
a great observation. I totally forgot about that. But we don't have a female OPA. BJ's in. Again, pending certification again?
Yes.
Everything's pending certification on Thursday.
No, Thursday won't.
September. That's a long time, it feels like.
It's required by law. We have to give 10 working days for other off-island and Uokava ballots to come in.
So are the absentee ballots counted?
Some of them have been counted. Those that we received before Election Day, those have been counted. There are some that still need to be counted.
Okay. More with D18 after the break.
Summer is here, and at Cars Plus and Mighty, that means big savings during our summer clearance event. Right now, save up to $8,000 on select 2018 Ram 1500 SLT Crew Cab, or save $3,250 on a 2018 Chrysler Pacifica, voted Family Car of the Year. 1.99 APR financing is available for qualified buyers. Plus, buy today and receive a Cars Plus value card, where you get 21 cents off per gallon at all Shell stations. Don't miss our summer clearance event, going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's, offers fully covered loading and unloading area with individual pin-coded gate and door access. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
It's tough to top an original, so we added to the sides instead. It's the Cheesy Gordita Crunch you know and love, now completely new. The limited edition Double Cheesy Gordita Crunch box, only at Taco Bell.
Hafa day and welcome back to D18 Tonight. Again, I have Jerry Crisostomo, Maria Pangelinan, and Regine Biscoe Lee with me tonight. Again, I welcome your questions on Facebook Live if you're watching at home. But again, I have more questions for Maria because I want to pick her brain because she's probably really, really tired. We all are actually. But I wanted to know more about voter turnout. You know, which precincts had the best turnout?
Well, based on our immediate review of the precinct by precinct results, it looked like Agana Heights had the highest voter turnout. So,
is there a speculation why that's so?
Jerry has an answer.
I suspected that
you don't vote in Agana Heights.
No, I don't. I vote in Dedido. But I suspect that because Governor Gutierrez is from Magana Heights, there's more motivation for his family and supporters to really turn out, and that's probably what did it. I know I read one exit poll that had his team, I think out of 30 that were polled, there were polled, 16 of those had voted for Gutierrez Bordallo, and the rest were all single digits. So that could have been the reason. I don't see any other reason that.
Your majority of the voters are Manumku, right? Is that true?
You know, we don't look at the demographics of the in the primary because we have to hurry up and prepare for the general.
So no time for that, guys.
Yes. And so I was talking to the staff. Well, do we do that after the general? And we'll take a look at it and see if there's time for that.
I also want to talk about, why is there such, how many percent of the island, we have 150,000+ people. How come only this many people, registers to vote? I actually asked my students at the university, why don't you vote? And a lot of people will tell me it's because I don't want to serve jury duty. Is that true?
Nope. Not at all.
Okay, debunk that, because I'm going to be like, you should register to vote, but they're like, I don't want to serve jury duty.
If you have a driver's license.
DMV, guys.
DMV, not GEC. License, well, they still take our list, but if the driver's license, I think they get more jurors from the driver's license list, I believe. But I know it's not only our list they use.
So hear that if you're watching at home, it's okay to register to vote. They get the list for jury duty from the
Well, what's going to be interesting to review afterwards is the 6,400 newly registered voters for the primary.
Wow, that's right.
It's up 12%. It'll be interesting to see how many of those actually turned out to vote.
That's right.
Because if the projection was 60% or better, but we only reached 56%, did those 6,000 or so show up to vote? The first time voting, or for some it'll be their re-registered voter.
I actually was scrolling through my social media feed and I saw a number of posts with that hashtag first-time voter, and people were really excited about coming out in this election, and they did in a big way. So, yeah, at least for our party.
Right. And does the Republican camp have anything like a youth go out and a why vote kind of thing? Because I know that that's pretty strong in the Democratic side. Is the 40 and under, they're really pushing for the younger voters to go out.
Right. That's the same as the gubernatorial team has a youth effort, or youth movement, and that's the same in the different village organizations that register these new voters. So we have our share of new voters that came out, and those are committed voters that we feel are committed to us. So they're tracked to see if they actually showed up to vote, and then they're compared to our commitment list. Anything else? The reason why you think people don't want to come out and vote? It's a Saturday. That's the last thing they want to do, is to come out and vote.
Our reporters went out in the field and we noticed that 7 a.m. it was dead. It was dead. People run errands on Saturday, sleep in.
But it's actually better than the previous elections, right? I think it was 44% in 2014 gubernatorial year, and it's still better than the 2016 turnout. So.
Well, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Regine, for joining us. Better late than never. You'll see more of Rory in the after party. Again, that's our Facebook Live exclusive. So if you want to keep the conversation going, you have more questions, you want to speak to our analysts, you want to hang out with Chris Barnett and Sabrina Solis-Metanali, you can join them on our Facebook Live. Again, thanks for tuning in to D18 Tonight. Good night.
Furniture provided by Furniture Kathy Style. Men's wardrobe by Royal Bix.